So while in between getting gameplay and finishing up my Dragon Ball Sparking Zero video and just thinking of what I want to cover next, we got actually a pretty big day for Microsoft and Xbox fans. Now, every single time I make a news video surrounding PlayStation or Xbox, I always get comments talking about being a console warrior, talking about the console wars. If you know anything about me, you know I absolutely think that stuff is stupid. I don't care for it. I just want every console to have great games that a lot of people enjoy. And unfortunately for Xbox, that just hasn't been the case as of recent. We'll see how 2025 is, and really the end of this year. Indiana Jones is shaping up to be pretty good, but I've been lacking on the Xbox content, so I feel kind of bad. And today was actually just a pretty big day for them. First, and not surprisingly, the Xbox servers were down today for some reason. I'm not covering that though. That's just something that I thought was interesting, that today was a pretty decently sized news day for them in terms of just things that they were discussing and confirming, and then the servers got shut down. So the first thing that they kind of came out with today was news about a Xbox handheld console being confirmed by Phil Spencer. I'm going to get back to this one because this is my biggest excitement out of all of the news articles. Really quickly though, they talked about, or really Phil Spencer talked about how Xbox titles, all of them, have the potential of appearing on other platforms in the future, saying that there's no game off limits, including games like Halo. And this just shows more of the side of Xbox that I unfortunately do not think is a good idea and that I don't really like. Xbox is starting to lean more into the publisher side of things. Obviously, again, I said at the start of this video, I don't care for the console wars, but I do think having certain consoles house certain games is good for the ecosystem, and then eventually bringing those games over to other consoles is just a good thing overall. But I don't think that console exclusives as an idea are bad. I think if anything, it just promotes productivity from every single side that you look at. I think it's important to have strong competition because it should make you adapt and create stronger games, something unfortunately Xbox just hasn't really been doing as of late. So they've been pushing this multi-platform strategy for a little bit with some recent first-party Xbox titles. One of the biggest examples of this is the recent announcement that Indiana Jones will be making its way to the PlayStation 5. I think it's a year after, or maybe it's 6 months after. For me, that's very disappointing because I think that just kills any reason of why you should even buy it on Xbox in the first place. You literally just have Game Pass. Obviously, Game Pass makes them a whole lot of money. I'm not here to talk about if Game Pass is good or bad. Personally, I don't really like it. That's just my hot take, okay? And then the other thing, it's very small. It's not like a huge chunk of news by any means. Microsoft is open to more gaming acquisitions. Now, for me, this is scary. They're not working on anything imminent. There's nothing coming in late 2024. And they're also unlikely to pursue a blockbuster deal just because of how big the Activision Blizzard deal was, at least for now. But they are open to adding more to their library, which again, after everything that happened with the Hightail team, Hightail? Really? Hightail, the Hi-Fi Rush team, you fucking idiot. After everything that happened recently, we'll have to wait and see for that. But back to the biggest news, in my opinion, the Xbox Handheld. This is, in my opinion, a very good route that they are going on. Now, to get clickbait stuff out of the way, this thing is not close to being finished. They said that the Xbox Handheld is still a few ways away. It's still a few years down the road. And the company is currently in the process of prototyping the device, but wants to improve the Xbox app experience on existing handhelds before making a portable gaming console of their own. Now, this can go one of two ways. It can go the Nintendo Switch way, where it's a handheld console. You can buy physical games and you can put it on there and you can take it everywhere and you own the games you buy. Or it can go the PlayStation Portal route, which personally, if it goes the PlayStation Portal route and I have to buy another Bluetooth system that has to be paired to my home console and has terrible Wi-Fi connection, no matter how close I am to the router, I might just never buy a handheld console from anyone other than Nintendo ever again. Don't get me wrong, I am a diehard fan of of the PSP. I think that the PlayStation handhelds up until the Portal were very great. And although I've been enjoying using my Portal more as of recently because they've changed a lot of things, it took them like 6 to 8 months after the console released to actually give an update worth going back to the console for. And even then, it still doesn't fix the major problems that I am personally having with the device. Phil Spencer recently talked with Bloomberg and talked about how the fans are expecting the company to do something in the portable gaming sphere, and that Microsoft has already started thinking about that something. And I think that that's really cool. I think that as long as it's not a Wi-Fi only device, I will be okay. Now, one of my other biggest fears for this is that it's going to be a Game Pass only machine. Think of something like the Google handheld device that we had. For some reason, I can't shake the feeling that they're going to make this handheld system and they're going to make it so you have to be logged into your Microsoft profile, which is fine because Nintendo has that, Sony has that, that doesn't matter. But after you do that, you don't really have a choice. You have to be a subscriber of Game Pass. I hope I'm wrong. I have no evidence for this whatsoever besides my gut feeling that there's not going to make this game, or they're not going to make this console a solely native console. This thing is going to be something that either has to be linked to your Xbox and it's going to basically just mirror what is happening on the screen for the Xbox like the PlayStation Portal does, or it's going to be some weird device where you have to be a subscriber of Game Pass and you have to play the games through that, meaning that anything that you try to purchase for this will be digital and that you actually don't own it. That's the other thing too. Even if they don't go the only Game Pass route and they go the all digital route, that makes me equally as uncomfortable, especially with all of the recent controversies and trials around digital games. Then you would basically only own the console itself, because then all they could do is they could just pull the plug on the Game Pass servers, which I doubt they would ever do, but they could theoretically, or they would pull the plug on any support for the console, and then you just have a brick. Now, I know I'm usually the positive one here on this channel. I'm usually very positive. I try to be a very positive place, but unfortunately, the PlayStation Portal burned me. I mean, I knew obviously going into it that it was a non-native device, and I knew going into the PlayStation Portal that it was essentially just an accessory to my current PlayStation. But with the release of the Steam Deck, with the success of the Steam Deck, and obviously the success of the Switch, and the Switch being my favorite console of all time, I have high hopes for this. And unfortunately, with high hopes comes higher expectations, and that's not really fair to Xbox, and I'm sorry to them, but I have a gut feeling that this is not going to end well. Just a gut feeling. And I hope that that gut feeling is wrong, because I really think that we need more handhelds in terms of higher quality games. Because if Xbox and if PlayStation come out with handhelds that are native and you can buy games for them and you have these incredible experiences on those consoles, then it will force Nintendo to up their game as well, because they will have to compete with it. Okay, maybe not. Nintendo doesn't really do that, but you get my point, right? The other thing here too is hopefully with a handheld console, that means they are making more fucking video games, because why would I ever buy an Xbox handheld if you're not making good first-party exclusives for it? If every Nintendo Switch game was playable on the PlayStation 5 and was playable on PC outside of illegal means, I would not own my Nintendo Switch. I would not have hundreds and thousands of hours on my Nintendo Switch without those exclusives. But anyway, that's just my quick take on this news. I'm covering news because I've been doing a lot of nostalgic-based videos, and I'm trying to gather all of the gameplay I need for the Sparking video, the Sparking Zero video. I'm absolutely loving that game, so that's just like a quick little snippet there. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers. We are so close. So if you could do me a favor and scroll down and hit the red button, because 99% of the people that watch my videos are not doing that. And that's very, very disappointing. I'm very disappointed. I'm not really. I don't really give a fuck. If you saw this news, let me know what you think in the comment sections down below, or if this is your first time hearing about this news, go ahead. I'm going to link all 3 articles that I touched on in the description of this video, just so you can check them all out. They're all from Game Rant, so hey, take the info with a grain of salt. Anyways, this has been Nate, otherwise known as Wicked, for you guys, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care.